Hello, everyone. My name is Jessica, and I will be sharing with you some excerpts from a book that my wife and I have been writing, which is now available at lulu.com, called The Archives of Nature. It's about channeling crystals over the past 7 years. Please check out our video on the table of contents if you're interested about all the different subjects that we do cover. Today I'm going to be sharing with you about Egyptian gods. I'm going to start with Ptah. Ptah appears like a guide, and he is an angel and benevolent. He appears to be a being of immense intelligence and strength. He has reddish skin and has evolved through millions of years in 2 different planets. He wants to give a gift to the earth, which is independence of will, and he wants to improve people's quality of life. He has a scepter of power which has a quartz crystal, which is super pure, almost like a diamond. There is a chamber they used to use in Egypt where the crystals were placed in different positions in a grid, and there would be a light that would go through a hole in the pyramid that would have been otherwise in complete darkness. The crystal of the scepter would create configurations that would generate electricity. They worked a lot with crystals, sunlights, and sounds. Ptah has a connection to the Native Americans, and they knew him as Hiawatha. He is in the fourth dimension now. A soul can actually work on the 3D plane and fourth dimension at the same time. The soul can send a portion of itself to the third dimension to have a soul in a body, while at the same time they are working in the fourth dimension independently. Ptah has the body of a person in New York City who is a cab driver with a wife and 5 kids. He is not aware that he is Ptah, although he does have dreams of this life ruling in Egypt. The Hathors. The Hathors are beings from another timeline of Earth, as well as another planet, but mostly from the other planet. They are orange, red, and they look like they spend a lot of time under the sun. If one does not channel, then they can communicate with the Hathors by being in Egypt during the summer. There is a specific location where one can sit down. This will be during a time of day when the sun is at a 35-degree angle. One is supposed to sit in a very mathematical area. Then one is able to communicate with the Hathors directly. This is because of the vibration of the sun, and the angle of the positioning of the chain of the sun changes the overall mathematical signature. As you know, everything has a signature that unfolds itself into a communication. Then, sometimes that communication can unfold itself into certain behaviors or actions. One can also manifest very easily using this technique because the mathematical configurations are like codes and keys that can be used to unlock creations. Just by being in this arrangement, it will open up the key that will allow communication to be established with the Hathors. They have bronze-colored skin and wear copper crowns around their foreheads, with copper bracelets on their wrist. They helped humans a lot with the process of healing and medicine. They are able to tune the spine like a musical instrument. In order to perform this technique, one would need to have their third eye opened so that they can see what they are doing. One is able to tune the spine using crystals and gold in a complex, specific configuration. The Hathors came to comfort us, and they want to inspire us to do a range of other activities so that we are more occupied and not to feel that we are in a rut. They are from the 8th dimension on Mars and specialize in opening gates for travel. This is so that they can go to other planets to offer assistance. They are able to help millions of people at the same time. One of the Hathors did have a family not too long ago, but they were killed in World War II. He thinks that the earth needs healing and that eventually it will be completely healed. He says that in 2030, the process of healing will begin. So do not despair, and to always believe in our dreams. He came to tell us that we weren't alone. He can be singular or divide into multiple beings at will. He wants me to feel inspired by the Hathor material because I dreamt about receiving the book. He says that he will work with us for 9 years, and he mostly works with healing. He is going to come forward later and give more healing words for people who are in despair. Helios. Helios is also known as Horus, and he was 12 feet tall, with white hair and an eagle's face. There are 7 different eagle beings, and it denotes a particular level, and they are not necessarily pure beings. Rather, it is a stage of evolution. We have described 4 of the 7 eagles, and they are Anu, Marduk, Ezekiel, and Helios. Helios was a wise overseer who had a very strong gaze, and he is about 300 to 400 years old. He specializes in mechanical construction, and he sometimes manifests himself as being blue, long, and thin. Helios is currently guiding 3 people. He is an interpreter and is able to bring a lot of issues to light. Helios helps many people, especially in the realm of medicine. He deals mostly with the different levels of the mind and all the different selves. He is able to help people who have mental challenges or impairments. He was also one of the early Gnostics and is highly sophisticated in all of his actions. When we say sophisticated, it means that he is completely conscious about what he is doing. Therefore, he is self-realized and self-proclaimed. Throughout the years, people have been writing about him, and some of the writings have been extremely exaggerated. For example, some say that he defeated large armies and populations, and that he did things that would require an army, but this is untrue. He did, however, receive a lot of honors from many, many schools. Akhenaton. The depictions of Akhenaton did not do him justice because he was much more handsome. He was taller. His head was 2 feet by 1 foot. He was considered to be very intelligent and a child prodigy. The following Egyptian generations wiped out his image because they felt he was a demon who insulted their traditions and culture. This happened hundreds of years after he had died. The reason that they felt that this was necessary was because the Egyptians were going through a period of hardship and poverty, so they blamed Akhenaton. They thought that the gods were angry and punishing them for what Akhenaton had done in the distant past. Akhenaton was able to recreate a body again in the 4th dimension, and he now resides in a super modern place below Egypt, where he works with machines. He reconstructed himself when he was 30 years old. He was a 10-foot tall Atlantean and an Anunnaki, along with the other pharaohs. This is because some Anunnaki manifested themselves as the Atlanteans. Akhenaton says that he will return to the surface of the earth when the reptilians are gone or when they revolutionize themselves. Okay, that's all I'm going to be sharing today about the Egyptian gods, but we do also have information about Osiris, Nefertiti, Isis, and the Atlantean doctors, as well as the Sphinx, which are all very fascinating. So I encourage you to please pick up a copy of our book. If I could, I would, buy everybody a copy, but I can barely afford, to buy a copy for close friends and relatives. So I would really appreciate your support to be able to get this information out there. I do believe it is very vital to share it at this time. Thank you so much for watching and for listening. Again, the Archives of Nature, available at lulu.com. Thank you.